In the next few slides, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the 8 important steps that were involved in the important consulting contract meetings. So let's get started. So for all these steps, I'm going to use the following format to present the relevant information. I'll first highlight the objectives or the purpose of such steps. Then I'll quickly go over some of the techniques that you can use. And I'll also base on the textbook and provide some modified sample script for you to utilize. One of the reasons why I want to use this format is help you to better understand the purpose of each steps and the corresponding methods that could help you to accomplish these objectives. All right, so let's get started. The first step in the contract team meeting would be personal acknowledgement, right? The reason why this step is important is because it aims to help increase personal comfort level between the clients and the consultant. So basically, it's a way for you to make sure you start off things in a positive with a positive connotation, positive note, right? So what one of the technique that recommended in the textbook is that you want to make a personal statement about being in the meetings and explain why this matters, and then ask your client to do the same. Basically, allow them the opportunity to communicate with you their feeling about being in this meeting. A good sample script that you could use. Oh, and also before I forgot, for all these sample scripts, I have modified these slightly with the context of this class. And one thing you should be aware of is that you really don't need to follow closely these sample scripts. These scripts are there to help you organize your thoughts. And depending on the project you choose, you should modify it accordingly. All right. And furthermore, different people have different approach of doing these contracting meetings. So you need to have a conversation with your teammates and figure out what would be the best way to kick off this meeting and continue such conversation. Right? Yeah. So a simple script for step number one, what you can do is you can say, this is one of the few projects that allow us to utilize our knowledge and expertise to solve real life business problems. I'm glad you are interested. Then you can ask them to share, to do the same, right? To ask them about why this project matters, and basically have the opportunity to ease your clients into the following steps. And step two, continue from step one. After your clients explain why these meetings matter to them, and they probably will have the opportunity to talk about what the problem they face that need help with, then this is when you can continue to step two, which is communicate that you understand the problems and acknowledge the unique aspect of their situation. The objective for this step is to gain trust and understanding. This is when you will be able to showcase that you actually have a good understanding of their problems and you appreciate the unique aspect of their issues. So it doesn't matter who you talk to across all different clients, actually many of them will believe that their problem is unique. And to a certain degree, that's true because every organization have their own unique competitive landscape, and they also have their own product they develop. So this this unique feature would be something important for you to recognize and acknowledge for, right? So some of the technique the textbook recommend would involve the following items. First, you want to really acknowledge the unique aspect of the situation. By acknowledging such unique feature, you actually show to your clients that you sympathize with them, you understand what's going on, you understand and appreciate the uniqueness of their problems, and you will also, by simply acknowledgement of this, you actually will be able to get their trust that you will uh, collect more information to help resolve such unique aspect, right? And another important thing you need to do is that you really want to restate the problem in your own ways, all right? Sometimes when clients specify uh, their problems in the process, it could you may not be able to understand completely what's unique about their situation. That's why you really want to rephrase it to ensure that you understand the gist of their problems, right? So this is a good way to ensure that you have developed a good understanding of what their situation is and what unique feature that you should pay attention to when in later stage. And finally, you want to reassure the clients that doesn't matter how unique the problem is, there would be potential solutions to that you can develop based on existing frameworks that you have acquired from other courses or based on your personal experience. All right. By doing this, you will gain their trust and believe in your competencies. So, of course, you want to say all these in a sincere, straightforward manners, so that way your clients will have a clear understanding that you understand and appreciate such problems, right? So potentials could be the following. Your situation have several unique things, and that's when you will introduce unique features that you notice in the initial, based on the initial project discussion and the conversation you have in step one. Then then you can follow up by saying you have mentioned in great detail your concern about XYZ. And then, so basically, you want to restate these issues in your own words, right? This is the opportunity for you to do so. Then you want to assure them that there are solutions, right? So what you can say is that despite your frustration, I understand what you are up against. The kind of thing we have learned or experienced to address in our XYZ courses. Or you can, if you actually have relevant experience, this would be a wonderful time to bring that up as well, right? So as you can see, that the beauty of coming up with these scripts, it actually before the meetings, is that it allow you to be really prepared for these meetings and any potential issues they may spontaneously arise. So it's better to be prepared than just wing at it, right? Step three is that's when you really want to understand clients' wants and offers. So the objective for these steps is for you to get a better understanding of the goals and their resource they are able to provide for you to work on this project. And the recommended technique in the textbook is that you want to understand different between what's wanted and from the project as what's wanted from the consultant, right? So the clients often have a good understanding of what kind of solutions or how they want, what type of approach they would like you to take, but they may have different expectation about what is wanted from the consultant. These wants and desire could be more complicated. And basically, it could involve certain constraint of the organizations. They may not be able to provide additional too much information, and that will also be important to figure out as well. So you want to differentiate what's wanted from the project and what's wanted from you. And you also, this would be a good time to understand what type of constraint that you may face in the process, right? And a sample script could be, what would you like to accomplish with this project? And how would you like us to approach this? So the first question will help you to understand the goal of the project. And the second question is for you to detect whether there would be any preferred approach or whether they will have certain expectation on what the consultant should do. Uh, and that's important to find out. Sometimes clients may have a specific uh, ways for their consultant to approach things. If that's the case, it's important for you to find out as well, right? Because that's once you find out the particular way of doing things they prefer you to adopt, you will be able to better analyze the situation, and you can see whether such approach is reasonable or not. If not, if it is, then you can just go ahead with the recommended approach. If not, then that's when you can, in the subsequent steps, that's when you can talk about what your recommendation could be, right? And another good question to throw in at this step is to highlight any potential constraint. This could be a constraint in resource, or it could be in the constraint of time commitments they have for this project. So it's a good idea to ask for a clarification question. In the textbook, they also list out potential constraint. So please be sure to read the textbook carefully so you can get more comprehensive pictures on what these constraints could look like. Step 4 is to highlight what you want and what type of service you can provide. Step 4A is focus on the consultant wants, right? So at these steps, you really need to specify what type of resource will help you to achieve the success of this project, all right? Some of the recommended technique based on the textbook would be the following. You want to know the difference between the essential wants and what's good to have or desirable wants, all right? For essential wants and needs, this would be the most essential information or resource they need to be present in order for you to solve this problem successfully. Such wants and needs could be access to key stakeholders, the ability to talk to those individuals who will matter in this project, who could determine the success or failures based on their feedback or based on their reaction. And this is also a good opportunity for you to bring in, to highlight any internal or external information data and their accessibilities for your project. For example, if you are doing a SWOT analysis, if they already have done a careful analysis of their internal resource and capabilities, and that's important to ask, right? And you want to ensure they are committed to this project as well. And for desirable wants, would be those nice to have, but may not be that critical for the success of the project, right? This could be additional staff from the client's organizations, additional internal support, etc. Another important technique is that you want to be authentic in discussing your wants and desire, right? That simply means that you want to state these items in simple language first. So the reason why you want to state your desires or wants or needs in simple language is you really want to eliminate the potential rise of any confusions. All right, so you really want to get into a point. And once you make the initial ask, be quiet and let the client react. This is when you will be able to observe the client's willingness to provide such resources or not. And if they have any question, then you can also address as well. If they have any confusion, that's when you would be able to restate your needs and wants in different ways. And then you really want to listen to a yes or no answers. If yes, great. If no, then you really need to think. If they say no to the essential needs that you need to obtain, then you need to figure out the reason why. If it's and also whether there are other ways to help you to achieve success for the project, right? So remember, at this stage, contracting stage is really important for you to develop this type of two-way communication in order to figure out what's feasible and what's not feasible. If they are not willing to provide certain needed information or needed resources, then you just have to tell them that based on that constraint, you will only be able to provide certain type of solution instead of all the optimal solutions, right? So it's all about communication. And then what you can do in this step is that you can offer your you can highlight what you can offer in this situation, right? Oftentimes, the objective is for them to understand what would be the deliverable of these outcomes. And what you really want to do is to be realistic, right? So that really means that don't overpromise and know your limits. This is important for this class, especially given that you only have 10 to 12 weeks of time to work on this project. So before the very initial contract meetings, be sure to communicate with your group mates and figure out what would be a feasible deliverables, right? Don't let your clients push you to a corner, make you overpromise something you could never be accomplished. Because if that's the case, if you overpromise at the contracting stage, and it's very unlikely you will be able to deliver those promises, right? Recommended technique would be state clearly what you need and want from a client in order to make this project work. It's very important for you to state clearly, even at the risk of overstatement. It's important to do so you will be able to have all the resource or information needed for you to work on this project. At the same time, you want to be cautious about the result that you will be able to deliver. And again, don't want to overpromise and know your limit. Although you do run the risk of understatement, which is fine. And around this stage, both you and the client pretty much have a good ideas on what each other's desires and want would be, and what would be deliverable, and what type of resource needed to provide it. And usually, especially for consulting project in our courses, this is when you will be able to reach agreements, right? So at this point, what you need to do is ask clarification question, making sure the clients know exactly what you can offer, and ask for their feedbacks, right? If they have additional question, they may raise. If they have additional needs, this would be a good opportunity for them to raise. And then you can, based on their additional request, then you can highlight whether there are additional resources needed for you to accomplish their new request. And it's once Richmond have reached, you want to reiterate this agreement in your own words, making sure you have developed a good understanding of these agreements. Good example would be a sample script would be, it looks as we agreed on how to proceed. I'm really happy about that. Our agreement is that. And then you state, based on your understanding, what would be the deliverable and what would be the resource needed for this project to work, right? And step number 6 is to help you to rule out potential issues. So there are the recommended technique would be you really want to test clients' commitments and remove any feelings of coercion by simply ask the following question, such as, is this project something you really want to see happen? Are you satisfied the way we agreed to set this up? It's very important to ask these questions because oftentimes in this communication, in this contracting stage, coercions could occur. Sometimes the clients may be very agreeable individuals and he may agree to all your requests, but toward the end, he feels he's being forced into that particular situation. So by asking this question, you actually give them an opportunity to rethink about their offers and their agreements, and then if they are not comfortable with that, let them make that adjustment. All right, do not force them into a situation where where you feel that they are being coerced to. Another important technique is to make sure you want to test for the control and vulnerabilities for this project by simply asking, do you feel you have enough control over how the project is going to proceed? And are there ways you feel vulnerable with respect of this work? So these two questions will ensure that clients feel they are okay with the plan process. And that's a way that's one way to make sure these clients would be committed in the long run, right? So by asking these questions, you are really help yourself to rule out potential issues, a potential issue related to commitment and control of the clients. Step number 7 is to simply get support. So at this point, you are pretty much at the conclusion toward the end of your initial contract meetings. All right. So what you want to do is you want to conclude with positive notes, right? So this would be a good opportunity for you to make supporting statement about their willingness to initiate this project with you. A good sample script would be starting a project like this takes some risk on your part, and I appreciate your willingness to take that risk with me. So by acknowledging that there could be certain risk involved and that you appreciate his or her support, this will actually help you to show appreciations and create a supportive environment for you to work on in the long term. And finally, which is perhaps the most important things, is let your client know what's the next action items, right? So that way you won't end the whole contract meetings with any confusions. So you at this point, what you really want to do is to ensure your clients know what to expect next, right? So a good sample script would be you are going to send a memo to your people about the project, and we will craft and share engagement letter about this project by this time. And by providing specific action items, the clients will feel they are in good hands. They know exactly what to do and what to expect and when, right? So by following these 8 steps, you will ensure that the contracting stage will go fairly smoothly and both parties will have a pleasant experience. So for our class, I really would recommend you to carefully think through these 8 steps and come up with the corresponding script on what you should say and what you should do and respond to your clients during the initial contract meetings. And another important thing that I want to highlight is that you want to actively take note in the contractual contracting meeting in the initial meeting, because taking notes not only help you to write down important information, it also will show your clients that uh, you actually care about this project, right? And there are additional things you should pay attention to in the textbook, in mostly chapter 7 and chapter 8. Chapter 7 discussed some additional nuance about contracting, basically providing additional process model. While chapter 8 go over some agony of contracting, basically what you should do if you feel you and your clients could not reach agreement on any deliverable or action items, right? Be sure to take a look at this chapter as well. Thanks so much.